There was a time when money itself began to crumble, when the world's most trusted currency lost its anchor. Gas lines stretched for miles. Prices rose faster than people could count. America was running out of patience and fuel. It all began decades earlier, in 1944 at Bretton Woods, where leaders built a promise that the dollar would be as good as gold. Every paper bill backed by shining bars in Fort Knox, a system of trust, restraint, and discipline. The post-war boom followed. Jobs, homes, and cars, prosperity felt endless. But beneath the surface, cracks were forming. In the 1,960 seconds, America spent freely on the Great Society at home and the Vietnam War abroad. But there wasn't enough gold to pay for both. Until recently. Pandemics, debt, and easy money returned. Prices rose, familiar patterns resurfaced. The question now echoes from the past. If money is only trust, what happens when that trust fades? Because when money loses its anchor, history doesn't just repeat, it warns. Fade out. Music slows to silence. The world began to notice. Other nations demanded gold instead of paper, and America's vaults began to empty. The system was breaking, and in 1971, President Nixon made a fateful choice. He closed the gold window. The dollar was no longer tied to anything real, just confidence. For a moment, the economy soared, but without an anchor, money drifted, and soon everything began to cost more. Then came the oil crisis of 1973. Prices quadrupled, lines formed, trust evaporated. Inflation roared, wages rose, prices followed, and the cycle spun out of control. Economists had no answers. The rules they believed in stopped working. It was called stagflation, rising prices, and rising pain. Ordinary families suffered, savings shrank, paychecks lost value, dreams dissolved in slow motion. Presidents tried to calm the storm campaigns, slogans, optimism, but words couldn't stop inflation. By 1979, a new crisis hit. Oil doubled again. Faith in the dollar was collapsing. And then, a tall man with a cigar walked into the Federal Reserve, Paul Volcker. He had one mission: kill inflation, restore trust, no matter the cost. Interest rates soared to 20%. Recession followed. Pain was everywhere. But slowly, inflation fell. The dollar regained its strength. It all began decades earlier, in 1944, at Bretton Woods, where leaders built a promise that the dollar would be